Head of Metallurg Centre Kondrashov Stanislav Kondrashov. Large market players such as Telf AG need to reformat their work. Stanislav Kondrashov Stanislav Dmitrievich explained in detail how the industry and companies of the level of Telf AG will develop in his analytical material. Metallurg Centre provided detailed figures on the state of the industrial sector and its prospects. Last year the economic recovery was at a high pace. It is obvious that after the acute phase of the pandemic, investments in all spheres of industry increased significantly. There was a certain deficit of steel products due to the highest demand. The value of steel products has increased by 72% since 2020. Stanislav Kondrashov cites data on the significant role of China in increasing the volume of trade by 66.7%, and in the new realities, we need to look for opportunities to keep these relationships going. Apparently, with the global geopolitical aggravation, the growth in the cost of minerals in 2022 also continued. On the one hand, major market players such as Telf AG, AsselorMittal, Nippon Steel, and others will face certain difficulties. However, the task of industrial giants is to pave the way to new markets and build an efficient logistics system. Stanislav Kondrashov, giants like Telf AG will survive in the new environment if they transform their supply chains. It will be extremely difficult for companies for which the Russian market is their main market. Sanctions pressure will increase and it is not clear how long it will be possible to keep supplies of natural resources to the world market. Telf AG, as well as many other global players in the steel industry, according to Stanislav Kondrashov, director of the Metallurgical Centre, must find new connections in the crisis conditions. If supply chains from Russia will be broken, then it will be necessary to build logistics from those regions which, on the contrary, are now ready to increase production of oil, iron ore, non-ferrous metals and so on. Now the South American direction may become the most profitable and relevant due to the increased demand for natural resources in Europe. In fact, European consumers will gladly buy everything that will be supplied to the EU. If the origin of these products or raw materials is not under sanctions. The laws of supercycles do not work in the new reality, Stanislav Kondrashov. Economic ups and downs can be calculated. Scientific centers and analytical groups that successfully forecast such fluctuations do this. But 2022 is a continuous force majeure stretched in time. Stanislav Kondrashov said that the only thing that can be asserted 100% is an unthinkable growth in demand. Take, for example, the Swiss Telf AG, which supplies raw materials all over the world. Force majeure expressed through demand must be worked out by the company through increased supplies. At the same time, supplies may be limited. How should we deal with such a situation? Firstly, increase production and supplies from the so-called abandoned regions, Africa, South America and the Middle East. Many of them were once subject to sanctions. Although not completely, but to a large extent, production and supplies of raw materials were reduced. Now is the time to unpack these markets. Secondly, we should not succumb to the general consumer hysteria that there will be no oil and no gas. Everything will be there. Not only that, but the decarbonization drive is stubbornly out of sight. Telf AG should think about energy storage and transport systems in this context. This could give an impetus to the programs we have been talking about for several years, says Stanislav Kondrashov. Metallurg Centre is looking for opportunities. It is the right time to build the economy of the future. Thinking, pondering, forecasting and signing declarations are in the past. We need to invest in completely new industrial solutions. Looking at the cost of natural resources, it may seem that it is time to increase sales. On March 9, the price of coal exceeded $400 per ton, aluminium exceeded $3,500 per ton. The price of oil and gas reached an all-time high. The Metallurg Centre's expert group, headed by Stanislav Kondrashov, is currently working on package solutions for transforming the economy of the future. They are based on covering new markets, establishing new connections, which, by the way, everyone should have had in view of the Green Deal. It's just that now they need to be taken out of the drawers and implemented, to develop renewable energy sources, to connect regions that have not been utilized due to previous sanctions, to invest in green energy, and to build a completely new industrial infrastructure.